This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. On today, the official opening day for Major League Baseball. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Our program today being brought to you by Marv Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Again, they're always on call, on the job, 24/7. You need them, give them a call. Or drop on by to 1515 Logan Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue. Sweet D in the Greenway Commons. Again, Paisan cuisine at its finest. And again, Joe and the gang, they pump it out fresh and delicious 7 days a week. 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Sweet D in the Greenway Commons. Across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, it's First Tier Bank. Banking done the old-fashioned way, customer service. Fantastic CD rates right now. Yes, you can make a little bit now by putting it away. As a matter of fact, talk to them about their annual percentage yields on 16 and 27-month CDs at First Tier Bank. Lennox Auto Body on Dunn Avenue, where they have a plethora of bays to take care of those autos and trucks and get them back on the road and running properly as soon as possible. Over on Pershing Boulevard, they have for you the Auto Glass and Detail Center, because it's not clean until it's Lennox clean. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs. And remember, with your doctor's prescription, Gene, his great staff always fill those prescriptions, explain those medications to you. Remember, you can head indoors or you can go to the convenient drive-thru outside, open Monday through Saturday. Medicap Pharmacy, Bluegrass Circle, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank, banking locations times 2. The original location on Vandehigh, the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing, old-fashioned banking, customer service, or you can do the high-tech banking, as Platte Valley Bank offers that to you all the time. Kia of Cheyenne, over on Nation Way. The 19s are waiting for you to get behind the wheel, take a test drive, maybe kick a few tires, sign the paperwork, and take home the Kia of your dreams. Some select 18s still on the lot. Talk with my good friend AJ and the crew today over at Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, serving up 3 squares right across from Menards. 2 convenient drive-thrus. Start off your morning with a delicious breakfast and a hot cup of coffee, and then wrap up your evening with a delicious chicken sandwich, waffle fries, maybe some soup, and, of course, a beverage of your choice from Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers. I drove by there today, and I'm telling you what, they got some good-looking Jaycos on the lot right now. So see our good friends over at Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. They got some 18 closeout models right now. 19s are on the lot. And again, you're going to check out some fantastic financing packages that they offer at Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And last but not least, Taco John's of Cheyenne, where it is always a great time to stop in and enjoy their loaded potato lays, their 6-pack and a pound, and, get ready for the ball games they're going to be on. Whether it's hoops, whether it's the diamond, we got some games that are headed your way all throughout the afternoon and evening, and get your delicious eats and treats from Taco John's of Cheyenne. We get things underway with our scoreboard. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
NHL action for tonight. Buffalo Sabres at home. They will take on the Detroit Red Wings. Washington Capitals will travel to Carolina to see the Hurricanes. Columbus Blue Jackets at home. They will take on the Montreal Canadiens. Florida Panthers travel to Ottawa to see the Sens. Winnipeg Jets at home. They will take on the New York Islanders. Dallas Stars will see the Edmonton Oilers there in Edmonton, Canada. The Vancouver Canucks at home. They will take on the LA Kings. And last but not least, the Chicago Blackhawks will travel to San Jose to see the Sharks at the Shark Tank. Regarding the NHL as well, for the Washington Capitals, they can clinch a playoff berth tonight if they are able to defeat Carolina in any fashion, or if they get 1 point against Carolina, and the Montreal and Columbus games are decided in regulation, regardless of who wins. So that's at least what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball official opening day. Let's run down some scores that we have for you right now. The Phils leading the Bravos. Bottom of the sixth inning in Philadelphia, where Bryce Harper's 0 for 3 with a couple of Ks. It's 3-1. Bottom of the fifth inning in Toronto, in the Rogers Center, and the Jays and the Tigers. They are quiet. Zeros on the board. Bottom of the third inning, where the Dodgers are leading the Diamondbacks at Chavez Ravine 3-0. Bottom of the fourth inning. Astros 4, Tampa Bay Rays 1 in the Trop. Rangers at Globe Life Park leading the Cubs in the bottom of the fourth inning 2-1. The Angels and the Athletics in the Oco, where the Athletics are on top 2-0. Giants and the Padres, they have slipped to the bottom of the fourth inning. Padres lead 1-0. Top of the fifth inning between the Tribe and the Twins at Target Field. Zippo between both squads. Bottom of the third inning, Rockies and the Marlins, no score in Miami. The top of the fourth, the Reds at Great American Ballpark hosting the Pirates. It's 1-0 in favor of Cincinnati. A rain delay in Kansas City between the Pale Hose and the Royals. So at Kauffman Stadium, everything's shut down for now. Yankees have defeated the Orioles 7-2 this afternoon in the Bronx. The Mets blanked the Nationals 2-0 in Washington. And another final, the Brewers hold off the Cardinals 5-4 at Miller Park. And later on, it will be the Bo Sox and the Mariners in Seattle. They'll get underway around 5 p.m. On the NBA scoreboard side, these games will take place later on this evening. Magic at the Pistons, Nets and the 76ers in Philly, Mavericks and the Heat in American Airlines Arena, Raptors and the Knicks at the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. The Nuggets trying to keep pace with the Warriors after the Warriors win last night in the FedEx Forum. It will be the Rockets playing host to the Nuggets in the Toyota Center. Clippers to the Bucks tonight in the Fiserv Forum. The Sacramento Kings will be in the Smoothie King Center, Sacramento versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And the Cavaliers and the Spurs hook up at the AT&T Center in San Antonio. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
On the show today, we will have upcoming the athletic director at Cheyenne East, Jerry Schlabs, longtime friend of ours, will be joining us like we had Chad Whitworth in yesterday. Tomorrow, it will be Mark Puev as we wrap up our ADs here on the local side. We'll also have the athletic director from the University of Wyoming, Tom Burman, joining us via phone in the 4 o'clock hour as UW gears up for Sweet 16 tonight as the Cowgirls will entertain the Lady Waves of Pepperdine. That's the 6:30 tap time. Right now, fingers crossed, weather is holding off.
Supposedly, again, it's been expected to be rain, snow. What I can tell, it's looking to be clear heading over to Laramie, at least throughout the evening. But again, you never know what, this part of the country what the weather's going to be like. But so far, it's looking like it should be decent to head on over. Looking at ticket sales so far, and again, we'll talk to Tom Burman about that. But ticket sales so far for the game looking very promising. Looking like numbers should go a little bit farther than they were for the previous contest against South Alabama. So at least, hopefully, again, Cowgirls get a big support coming up here tonight against Pepperdine, a team that is relatively unknown, at least in this part of the world, a team out of the West Coast Conference, a team that is, again, looking to at least upset the Wyoming Cowgirls coming up, and we'll see what happens again later on tonight.
So with the Cowgirls, again, they have moved into the Sweet 16. I would think, and this is, again, my opinion, we'll get this from Athletic Director Tom Burman, I would think if the Cowgirls can probably get about 5,000 in there tonight, and they do win, I would venture to say they're going to be an Elite Eight host as well.
Yeah.
So looking forward to the Cowgirls tonight as they'll match up with the Lady Waves. That'll be a 6:30 tap time in the Arena Auditorium. It is opening day for Major League Baseball. Rockies are in action. Our Giants, as you see, we're both in our San Francisco gear. Unfortunately, the Padres are leading right now. For the Seattle Mariners and the Athletics, they're playing Game 3 already, the Major League Baseball
Mariners
season.
2-0 to start off the season again. The Japan series, which you apparently have an issue with. I have no issue with, again, of that international flair to MLB. So
I don't have – now you're going to make me sound like an international – I just don't think that the opening day go play a preseason, 3 games over there. Why do you got to play?
Why not give that again? Where the NFL gives England that again regular season contest instead of moving, at least having one of the preseason games happen over there in London. They give them a regular season game to take away from those two teams that have to travel across at least the Atlantic to go play. So again, I have no issue with it. MLB, kudos to them.
Their spring training, as far as I'm concerned. Again, our first guest is in house right now, but it cuts into the spring training, my opinion. Secondly, opening day is for here. It's here, not in Japan. Again, play a 3-game series over there. I don't care. Play it. Take 3-4 teams over there and do preseason. I don't care, but not
takes away from the fans, though, or at least again for those baseball enthusiasts. Again, out in Japan, baseball is as big of a sport it is here in the U.S. And to give them just, here's a spring training game, have fun or something. Again, it kind of takes away from them. Yeah, maybe not to start out the MLB season. Maybe give them at least midway through.
I don't have a problem with that, but I'm just saying.
It sounds like you had issues.
I had an issue with opening day because, again, they were still in the middle of spring training.
But this one also, too, this series had something special, again, with Ichiro playing over there, again, retiring there in his home country.
I understand it. I'm just not being
You hate the rest of the world.
No, I don't hate the rest of the world.
Yeah, you do.
Shut your face. I'm telling it like it is, and that's the way I feel. Don't like it? Leave. All right? Take a time out. We'll be right back with our first guest after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Black Velvet, 1.75-liter bottle, $12.99. Black Box Wine, all available flavors, 3-liter box, $16.99. And Bacardi Rum, light, dark, or limon, 1.75-liter bottle, $18.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Let First Education Federal Credit Union help make buying your next car a breeze. At First Education, you get competitive rates and deal with friendly local folks. Be in control by getting pre-approved and know what you have to spend before going to the dealer. Call 432-7400, go to firstedfcu.com, or visit us in person at 120 West Carlson Street with approved credit, membership eligibility required, federally insured by NCUA.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers with highs around 62. Then for tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 32. On Friday, it'll continue to be cloudy with snow likely with highs around 42. And on Friday night, it'll be more of the same with cloudy skies with snow likely with lows around 21.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and we get a chance now to talk to East High Athletic Director Jerry Schlabs. And it's interesting here, and Nick kind of gets a little, blank-faced on this because he wasn't really around for any of this stuff. He was just growing up at the time.
Yeah.
But as we had kind of flashback Wednesday with Chad, we were just flashing back a little bit with Jerry here.
We'll be on the same vein tomorrow with Mark Puev, though, again, not having a whole lot of history to at least discuss.
No, but I'm sure from his previous stops, in Iowa, he'll have a chance to chat with us. But, Jerry, and it was an interesting point that he mentioned because Tag Lane has been throwing a lot of basketball stuff up on the Central Basketball website. But again, too, you went to Central.
Yep.
And you've been at East now for about a quarter century. So it's almost like you've had a hand in some of those championships that are over at Central, in addition to the championships that you've been a part of here at Cheyenne East.
Yeah, absolutely. Back in my playing days, I guess, at Central High, and it's been fun seeing Coach Lane's all the history he's been throwing out on Facebook and things like that. It's fun to see the old names of the players and the coaches, and I had a lot of those coaches while I was there, and yeah, we won a state football championship in '88, which was fun. I'm part of a few good basketball teams while I was there, and then of course just been very familiar with all the coaches that were there. I had Coach Ward, who was an East coach when I was at McCormick. Coach Weber was an assistant at McCormick at the time, and he was a head coach at East. So a lot of big time names and a lot of history there, and it's been a lot of fun looking back and seeing all those names and kind of seeing the accomplishments that have happened.
But it's interesting to see with Cheyenne East as well now, where especially my time being there, again, part of that football program, where learning the history of, hey, it's been a long time since they've won a football state championship, basketball having kind of at least taken some time, and eventually for both boys and girls getting those championships. It kind of feels like right now where we reminisce and look back to what Central has done in the past, where Cheyenne East is at least kind of for the 2000s, or at least where, again, I've been a part and seen here in the city of Cheyenne. Cheyenne East is kind of establishing that history of kind of that winning nature, and again, it still carries on of what we see, even to here in 2019 so far. And again, kudos to, the athletic department, again, around you, the head coaching staff, and again, the athletes that have kind of roamed the halls there at Cheyenne East.
Yeah, absolutely. When way back when I took over as athletic director and I was coaching beforehand, we just decided, we had to raise expectations, and we had to do that program wide, and we had to get kids out. We had to get kids playing multiple sports, and we had to kind of change the culture. And I think we've done, with the coaches we've had, and even the support from our administration and all of that, because it takes a huge group of people to do that. But we've been pretty blessed to have a great group of coaches. And then, of course, it's all about the athletes and the kids and the students. And we've had a pretty darn good run for quite a while now, and you know, we expect every year not so much to rebuild but to reload, and most of the activities in the sports that we participate in, and that's kind of our mindset, and we've kind of built that up, and like you said, kudos to our coaches and to the kids that have been a part of that, because they've built quite the culture at Cheyenne East, and we're proud of that and excited for it.
Something that I asked Chad, and I'll ask you as well, Jerry, again, with Cheyenne East, not at least lengthy, at least time, or at least history compared to Cheyenne Central, or at least when it was kind of known as Cheyenne High, but for Cheyenne East, so it does have history. And for yourself, though, again, being athletic director there at Cheyenne East, as you've been at least around those halls for quite some time now, history, is it something that you try to push, or at least say, hey, coaches, let's kind of look back at the history, or at least kind of let these, you know, youth nowadays know how Cheyenne East became, or at least the athletics of where it was to where we are today? Again, that building process to, you know, where we are, going to state tournaments, getting state championships, being competitive in football. Is that something that you try to push there? Yeah, absolutely. We definitely have those discussions. We talk about the great teams that we've had with the great coaches. There's a lot of very historical names when you talk about what Coach Lane's been doing. I mean, I remember going to a track meet way back when, and Coach Joe Forelli was coaching at the time, and we were driving out of Okie Blanchard Stadium because he couldn't ride on the bus anymore, and he said, I remember when Okie and I made that stadium, and you know, that's fun stuff to share with kids, and you know, in this day and age when everything's so fast and furious, sometimes people forget about the history, and so yeah, we definitely talk about it, we definitely discuss it, and we also let them know how far they've come, and what a big part they are of, like I said, changing that winning culture, or getting that winning culture, I should say, at Cheyenne East High School. And like you said, even though we haven't been around, you know, as long as, you know, Cheyenne High was the Indians, and then it continued with Central. Obviously, a lot of our people were a part of Cheyenne High at the time, but it's still a big deal to go back and look at what Cheyenne East has done from the day they opened the doors, and because there's been some pretty great accomplishments there as well. You know, and Nick brought a good point too about history. You're actually part of that history, and we'll talk now, where it's starting to become, and I don't want to use the word powerhouse, but it's almost anticlimactic if it's not there. And I'm talking about your East High Lady Thunderbirds being in the basketball state tournament every year. And again, you know, I look back at how the table said it had a good run in the 80s, then it kind of, you know, both ladies programs dropped off, and then Rob Redmond took over at Cheyenne East. You were his assistant. I remember Cindy Mossy taking over at Cheyenne Central, and Chad was Cindy's assistant. Then you both became head coaches about the same time, you know, maybe a year or two difference. But the point is, you have been on that side of rebuilding the basketball program at Cheyenne East, which carried through, and you spent many years on the bench coaching those Lady Thunderbird programs, which eventually gave way to Rusty Horsley, now to Eric Wesley. Yeah, absolutely. It's there was a lot of fun times and a lot of great kids. It's funny you bring that up. You may have seen it, but I saw on Twitter during the state tournament that when Natrona didn't make the state tournament, you know, it was Campbell County, Natrona, and then us. And so now we've kind of moved up into that second slot where we made it 19 years in a row. And that first year was my first year as the head coach. So that's something I kind of looked back at that and said, that's pretty neat. And Coach Wesley, and I said, no pressure, Coach Wesley, but that started with me, and let's keep it going. And so there is like I said, there is that expectation to always be there, to always compete hard, and that being part of that history is a lot of fun, and we feel like we've done a good job of building, you know, that program as well as a lot of other programs within our school. And but like you said, that girls, we've been lucky to have coaches like Coach Horsley, and then just be able to hand that over to Coach Wesley. And when Coach Horsley's doing the boys, is quite a benefit for myself. Even Principal Sam Merich, a good friend of mine as well. Sam has a state banner hanging over at Southeast when he coached the Cyclones to a state championship a few years ago. So again, you guys are accustomed to the winning tradition, and like Nick mentioned, you have that opportunity when you talk to kids. Hey, you've been there, you did it, you done it.
And I got a question to ask you, but I know you want to interrupt me. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to talk about at least that key word that you mentioned, pressure, there for Coach Eric Wesley, at least carrying that kind of at least tradition, that tenure of what Cheyenne East Lady Thunderbirds basketball has been. But I want to get your thoughts at least on the here and now, what happened this past at least a few weeks ago with the regional tournament happening here at Story Gymnasium, that double elimination kind of format, new format for basketball for both boys and girls, were for Coach Eric Wesley. It was not a guarantee to make it to the state tournament, and it got a little scary there at points where they eventually found themselves in the kind of loser bracket where one more loss and they would not have made it, even though they at least last year at this point in time, they were automatically given that state at least tournament opportunity. But just want to at least not get you in trouble, Jerry, but what were your thoughts on this year's first kind of experiment with the double elimination format with
and let me add to that too, the coaches that we talked to, most were not in favor of this new format.
Yeah, it was interesting, and it was, obviously with us hosting. I remember, a month or more before the regional tournament, I was like, boy, we got to figure out how this bracket's going to look. And we modeled it off of what 3A has done in the past, so we were lucky to see how they've kind of handled it. You have to deal with travel, so you have to deal, can we have it at one side or two sites? I prefer to have it at one side because it's just easier with workers and for the teams and for the fans, obviously. But with time out of school and budgets being such a big thing these days, the teams that were traveling preferred to have, come later on Thursday. So we had to make it a two-site tournament for 2 of the days. And so that kind of threw a wrinkle into things. But like you said, it was a little scary. In all my years as the head coach at when I was coaching the girls, we had to play in one loser-out game, and it's pretty stressful. And, in talking to all the 3A schools with the format of that tournament, people said it's almost better to lose-win than to win-lose. You're playing late. If you lose-win, you get a game earlier. You're coming off a win. You're feeling good. You have more rest. When you win-lose, you have a late game. You're playing a team that had rest, that just came off a win. There's a lot of pressure there. And so Coach Wesley and our girls did a great job of handling that, even though it was a pretty scary situation. And, I mean, as you guys know better than anybody in your business, when it comes to tournament time, anything can happen. And so you got to have your A game, and it is a pretty scary proposition. I think after after talking to everybody and after they got a taste of it, I think they like the fact they like the tournament atmosphere. They like the fact that they can get a game. If they lose a game, they're not immediately out. So there's some there. So there's kind of two sides to it all. And for the first time ever in that format, I think it was a fun tournament. We had a lot of fans, of course, and so. It's all day versus just in the evening, which is fun. So for the basketball lovers, you get to see a lot of good basketball. And, in hindsight and talking at our meetings after the fact, I think the coaches, I think they thought it was better than it was going to be at the time. I think those teams at the top still would prefer an automatic bid because that's a pretty scary situation.
Yeah, well, and I think, again, you're punishing a team because, again, they're wanting to win conference. And there should be some type of reward, but there is no reward. Everybody's basically an equal when it comes to that.
It was
tournament.
something that we discussed, and again, just kind of between us, but also to involve the coaches with. It was a situation of where you really didn't need to try, so to speak. You could kind of cruise mode through the regular season because, again, you didn't have to worry about, you're clinching, other than a higher seeding, so to speak. But it was essentially, hey, the regular season, it kind of doesn't matter almost because you're not getting that automatic bid. So why fight for that one spot, so to speak? But again, that's just kind of in our opinion.
You made a good point, though, Jerry, again, where you had 2 venues, and you've talked to the 3A schools. Well, here's something that's different. We had 8 schools participating in the Class 4A ranks this year, where usually in 3A, and I might be off here, it's either 5 or 6 teams that compete in the 3A tournament. So obviously I think a precedent was set this year. Whoever hosts the tournament next year going to have 2 sites. You can't do it all in one site in one day unless you start games at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And we made that decision because I was hoping we could start that Thursday at 9 in the morning and get teams up here Wednesday night. Obviously, they didn't want to travel and have that extra night in the hotel and pay for the hotels, and so we had to adjust that. But you're right. I think we did kind of set the precedence, and obviously we'll kind of expect the same treatment when we have to go north next year, that we won't have to do that. And so they're going to always have to kind of have those double sites. And you guys are 100% right. I was in agreement with you. I thought that even when I coached, when you could claim the number 1 or 2 seed and get an automatic bid, I still felt like the conference season wasn't as, in my opinion, I agree with you that you play 10, 12 games, and that should count more than one weekend of games. Mm-hmm. And so it's a difficult thing with the regionals. A lot of this, we've talked about not having regional tournaments. The smaller communities, Evanston, those type of communities love it because that's the tournaments they get to host. And so there's positives and negatives to all of that, and also money for the state of Wyoming, the Activities Association, that's kind of their profit on the regional tournaments as well. So there's a lot of things that we can improve on, and there are also some things that are pretty good right now.
East High Athletic Director Jerry Schlabs joined us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Take a timeout, come back. Go talk about coaching as opposed to athletic directing. We'll be back after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
AJ Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne. We're starting our 14th year and still strive to put you first by making it easy for you to own a new Kia. Right now, we can help get you into a 2019 Kia Sorento comparably equipped for less than Toyota Highlander, Jeep Grand Cherokee, or Ford Edge. The 2019 Kia Sorento comes standard with power heated exterior mirrors, rear camera display, remote keyless entry, and more. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 20 years, with doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Vanda High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you.
Emergencies can happen anytime, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, available 24/7, is here to take care of them in the quickest possible manner. Marv's Plumbing and Heating provides the highest quality service for all your plumbing and heating needs. So if you need bathroom remodeling or a commercial heating contractor for your latest building project, Marv's Plumbing and Heating will provide you with the most dependable service at a reasonable price. You can always count on Marv's Plumbing and Heating. Give them a call at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers with highs around 62. Then tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 32. On Friday, it'll continue to be cloudy with snow likely with highs around 42. And on Friday night, it'll be more of the same with cloudy skies with snow likely with lows around 21.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. East High Athletic Director Jerry Schlabs joins us, and we'll get a chance to talk about all the various programs and and the successes that that happened at Cheyenne East here during the fall and winter. Now, of course, we're into the spring sports.
We had record breakers as well, too, this season that we saw. Again, a lot of, at least, happening over there at Cheyenne East.
Well, real quick, Jerry, and I asked Chad, but I didn't get the proper chance to ask him because we got to talking about coaching. So you've had that opportunity, head coach, and then you also were assistant football coach at the same time. So as you were coaching, which takes up more of your time? Was it the coaching aspect, both sports, or being the athletic director? Because I know even though school ends in June, it's not like, you get some time off, but you still are on the job, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very similar, as much as the sports are year-round anymore. We really try to do a good job, and we kind of let our coaches do a great job, actually, of making sure kids don't have to make choices, and everything. There's such a demand for the kids' time these days. In the off-season, there's so many more opportunities is what really it comes down to. When I first started coaching girls basketball, you couldn't find a team camp in the summer. I mean, we went to Yoder and tried to play 2 or 3 games. Now you can do something every weekend, and so there's so much more. There's so many different opportunities for kids these days, and so for us our goal is obviously still have 3 sport athletes, and it's the only time they'll ever be able to do that their entire lives, and for the size of our schools, we need all those athletes to participate if we want to be competitive, and so the time's very similar between AD and coaching. Like you said, being in charge and having to go to all the events. I've noticed just in the last couple of years, getting older now, that I'm a lot more tired than I used to be, getting home at 11 at night after a long night of basketball, which you guys are very used to yourselves. But the biggest thing I think is you just have a different focus as AD. You can't be quite, coaches have tunnel vision sometimes with what they're doing and with the sports they're doing, and that's why they're good. And as AD, you have to have a little bit broader perspective on everything. You have to see things a little bit differently. And you have to try to get your coaches to see things a little bit differently, to buy into the whole community and the program versus just what they're doing. And we have great people and great coaches, and we really push that within our programs and our coaching staffs, and they do a good job of supporting each other. But I'd say the main difference is just that you just kind of have to have a broader perspective and an outlook on how things are going to work to be successful.
As we talked with Chad as well, too, and he kind of alluded, as we mentioned, again, we were at the Post 6 of Baseball Bash over the past weekend where he was announced as being at least a head coach for one of their teams.
Assistant coach.
Yeah, assistant coach with Cheyenne Post 6, at least, again, with their younger, at least, squads. But asking for you, Jerry, again, being in that coaching position, he kind of alluded of, I have that kind of coaching itch every once in a while. I do miss those relationships. I do miss at least that kind of vibe and again, getting in that competitive spirit. Have you ever, at least now being away from head coaching, is there ever been that moment of, I kind of miss it? Or is there something of, well, maybe I get back into it on the freshman level or the sophomore level? Has there ever been that kind of itch of recent?
Well, like you said, I'm very similar to Chad in that regard. We've had, just because of the ages of my own kids, I haven't really stopped coaching. I'm kind of on the brink right now. I have, my son's going to be a 9th grader this next year, and he'll be coming over to East, and so I've coached he and my daughter both in basketball and football and baseball with Chad, and pretty much from the time they were 2nd and 3rd graders. So when I got out of coaching at the high school, I've been doing that and continue to do that. And after this year, the only thing I'm going to have left is my daughter's basketball team next year. So I'm on the brink of kind of being done with it. But to answer your question, yes, it's that kind of keeps the competitive spirits going. It's fun to practice, but it is tiring. In addition to everything else that we're doing in the AD position. But you do miss it. There's nothing, you guys know, there's nothing much better than Friday Night Lights. And it's those things that you miss, kind of the competition of the games, things like that. I don't really miss the grind of the practices and the long seasons and the bus trips. I kind of just drive everywhere now. People are like, you want to ride the bus? I'm like, absolutely not do I want to ride the bus. I want to come and go as I please and be comfortable. So there are some differences, but you definitely, as any competitor, anybody who's participated, you always have that little fire that's still there.
We're starting to see a common theme with Jerry, Coach Ficca as well, too, is in that same vein of, I'd rather take the car instead of the bus.
Yeah. With the triads, and you got McCormick directly across from Cheyenne Central, you got Johnson right across the street from South. In the old Oakey Blanchard parking lot, the new KRAE Junior High is being built, and I'm kind of excited. I want to see what this finished product is, because when you go to KRAE now, it's run its course. It's an older building, and it's about time that they're moving those youngsters into something really nice. But for you and for Cheyenne East in general, again, it's another part of that triad that's a hop, skip, and a jump away now. Yeah, it's going to be amazing, and what a big thanks to like Mr. Bartlett and our superintendents in our district. They've done such a great job with our facilities, and we've been so lucky because we haven't, we just have the land over there, and so they've been able to do a lot of really cool things with our facilities, and like you said, having KRAE right next door to East is going to just be big in a lot of ways, because the kids are going to have something new. They're going to have these nice facilities, new fields, new gym, but at the same time, you're just that much closer, and like you said, with the triad system, it kind of will allow us and our kids to introduce them and have them be a part of East High School, while at the same time still, not losing their, losing the KRAE Junior High Braves vibe. But let's go to the history part. Again, being here in Cheyenne, you're a lifer, right? Yep. Think about it. That parking lot was, Friday Night Lights. That was the original parking lot for Friday Night Lights, the old Oakey Blanchard Stadium directly across. I mean, just a dirt field. It's history now. Yeah. I mean, is there a little bit of, a matter of fact, I've got a principal, Sam Marriage, gave me a brick from the old Oakey Blanchard Stadium. So my question is, do you feel that little sense of loss now that the old Oakey Blanchard Stadium is no longer in play? Oh, absolutely. When we initially tore down Oakey, I played there, and I was a part of that for a long time. And yeah, you absolutely do. I tell people, when you talk about history, I tell people about the old East Central games used to be played at 3 o'clock. They'd let school out at 1:30. We would carpool following the police from Central, and the East kids would walk down the hill towards Oakey for that crosstown rival game. And yeah, you definitely feel lost, because it's such a historical thing. It's like speaking of the regional basketball tournament, it was so much fun being a part of there and having it at Story Gym, just because that's a historical building in itself. But yeah, to completely when we tore down Oakey, it was kind of a sad day for people who had been a part of that and had known it. Obviously, we've been there and we knew what needed to be improved on. So at the same time, we felt really good about the improvements, because it just like you said, it just run its course, and KRAE's done that as well. So there's a lot of positives that come from that. But like you said, the history and losing that, that obviously stings a little bit as well. Let's talk about, and we'll get into the past here, which would be the fall and winter sports, but talk about spring sports. We mentioned it to Chad yesterday, and we'll touch upon that briefly with you as well, because we're hearing it again being brought up, and again, it's softball. And as I asked Chad if this was a Title IX deal, and he said no, not really. We could add it if it happens to take place. But I think with softball, after listening to Chad discuss it with us yesterday, it seems like softball would run into about as many problems as you have with soccer right now, too, because Mother Nature at this time of year seems to give us more snow than she does during the winter.
Speaking of which, I do believe you guys had a move, at least your soccer game, coming up against Sheridan, I do believe, correct? Yeah, correct. Yeah, our game for tomorrow, originally scheduled at 4 for the JV and 6 for the varsity. We're going at 3 and 5, and Central is 2. And we're playing the varsities first, just in case the weather rolls in and we have to cancel. We had to cancel our boys' game last week at halftime against Thunder Basin, because that storm blew apparently just right over Oakey and not anywhere else in the city. Apparently there's a couple inches on my truck when we left there. But yeah, the spring sports is tough, and if there's interest, we're always in favor of bringing on new things if there's interest. And at the same time, you got to think, do we want to is it going to take away from girls soccer and track? We don't want that to happen. You want to provide new sports and new opportunities for kids if there's a need for those kids that aren't already in. And
as Chad said yesterday too, if that happened, especially with the extreme, that would hurt Adam Galicia's team, because they would have to be committed to the high school program until May, I would venture to say, when softball would end. But again, I'm going to ask this question: is there a cry? Is there a big push amongst the state to get softball / maybe baseball added to the high school sports curriculum? Yeah, we haven't heard a lot about baseball, but there is a push without a doubt about softball. It started with Cody and a group up there kind of
were pretty hardcore and kind of started pushing the issue and kind of put it out there to see if there was interest. In our district, we've had a few meetings obviously and discussed it. We've met with the extreme folks and some of the softball community just to share the rules, because some people don't know that. I saw that Coach Galicia just won a tournament this last weekend. That those things would be on hold until the end of May if they were part of the program. The teams would be those kids would be split up, and there would be kids there'd be a team at East, a team at South, and a team at Central. It wouldn't be one Cheyenne team. And so those are the things that everybody has to really understand and get a grip on and wrap their head around and then see, is this what everybody in our community wants? And then our district is very willing to work with that and add something if the need is there and if the want is there. We have ways to go, and we obviously have a little bit of time to decide that. But there is definitely a push from softball folks in Wyoming right now to do that. I'm sure Chad told you, it got approved in Campbell County 2 nights ago. So you have Green River, Rock Springs, the 2 Campbell counties schools now, and as well as Cody. So you're looking, Ron Laird, we had our Southeast District meetings the other day. He feels like it's going to be a done deal in Casper. So that leaves 7 teams. You have to have 8. So obviously you go back and look at Laramie and you look at the Cheyenne. So I think it's a very real possibility that it could happen in the future.
Well, not to cut you off, but again, as you're talking about just at least number of teams, is it something where, maybe South, again, where we'll talk with Mark Puev, where South has been having issues at least with numbers, at least getting the athletics out there, at least young athletes to at least participate in the teams, but is it something where only Cheyenne East would participate, or again to kind of alleviate, to not say, hey, we have 3 teams, but all right, to compete in the high school ranks, here it is, Cheyenne East would pick up softball and not Central or South, or maybe Central and East does it, not South, or Central does it and the rest don't. Is that a possibility, or does all Cheyenne high schools have to pick up softball in order to kind of compete in the high school ranks?
I think if our district approves it, I think it would be at all 3 high schools, and then you would look at a numbers issue, and obviously, if down the road that was a problem or an issue, then you'd have to look at combination school agreements and things like that, which I know Chad talked with you guys a little bit about that yesterday as well. But I think if Laramie County School District 1 says we're going to have softball, it'd be 3 softball teams at 3 high schools.
I don't think that is, and you guys stop me if I'm wrong, I don't think that's all that bad if you had 3 softball teams, simply for the fact because you have the city softball, the city recreation league doesn't get play underway until May anyway. So again, we're thinking only extreme right now, and say some 20 kids of extreme, but we're also forgetting about the 60 kids that play during the rec season. So I would think that all 3 schools possibly, very well could be supporting at least varsity softball more than junior varsity softball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and those are conversations we've had, and that's the purpose of adding another activity. And you're right, people do get focused on the club teams, and obviously that's a big part of it because just people are competitive and schools are competitive, but you're adding a sport to provide opportunities for more kids, and the more kids are going to be exactly what you talked about. It's going to be the rec softball kids that may have an interest and they may have the opportunity to play more softball. And so without those kids, it probably won't happen. And so it's definitely a very wide range of kids from the beginner to the very elite athlete. And that's something that, like we said, when we do those surveys, if it comes to that, and when we have those conversations with the softball community again, with Dr. Boyd, those are conversations that are going to have to happen, and people are going to have to understand that, because one school communities like Cody, they're going to most likely have their same team.
Their club team.
Yeah, ours are going to be our extreme that usually dominates in the state, and Coach Galicia and those guys have done very well with that. That's going to change.
3 here, 4 there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think back to my high school days. We went straight from high school, and again, you don't have that luxury here. But I went straight from high school into the summer programs, whether it was Joe DiMaggio or American Legion, whatever the case may be. I don't see this as a bad deal. And again, too, we have other athletes, student athletes, that might be roaming the halls, and this might be their bailiwick to head on out and play. But again, it's up to you guys and to the district, or the Wyoming High School Activities Association, and we'll see if that comes into play. I would think it will. I think we're pretty doggone close to having this happen. Real quick here, I know we got to get up to the top of the hour in a few minutes here. Jerry Schlabs joining us. Looking back at the fall sports, obviously football, you had your cross country, golf, volleyball, which led into wrestling, and then you got swimming, and you also have indoor track, and you have basketball. Just your thoughts on all of the student athletes and their participations, and where Cheyenne East fared. And of course, as Nick mentioned when we went to the break, you had a school record broken this year too in one of the bigger sports at Cheyenne East.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of what we talked about before. We kind of have an expectation to kind of always be very competitive within the state and obviously the city, and we take great pride in that. And like I said, you talked about the triad earlier. We do a really good. We work really hard to involve triad kids all the way down from the kindergarten kids to get them a feel for East High School and East Triad. We have a lot of different activities. Our coaches and our activities sponsors are very involved with those younger kids, from the time they're in the elementary schools within our triad. And so it takes that to build it and to build that tradition and the history. And, we feel like we've kind of done that at East High School, and we want to continue doing that. So it's been a great year. Our football team was very competitive, was right there vying for a state championship again in the playoffs like they typically are. Our cross country runners, we're kind of young there, but we have a couple of studs that are doing a good job of getting other kids involved with that. Our golf team, surprisingly enough, demographically in the past, golf's kind of struggled, but Coach Hardigan and Oswald have done a great job with golf, and we've been right there vying for a state championship for the last 3 or 4 years on the boys' side, and now we're getting 10 to 15 girls out every year as well. And so we finished second in golf, had a state champ, had a player of the year in Blake Danny, who did a great job for us. Volleyball, kind of a rebuilding year, but then they end up having a great regional tournament, making the state tournament. And of course, volleyball has been dominant for quite a few years at East High School as well. And we have a good group of young kids coming back in the volleyball side of things. Coach Trujillo in wrestling has just done an unbelievable job. I mean, our wrestling, we won a state championship, of course, last year. We knew we had a chance to win it again this year. They finished third. He's just done a great job building the program, and that started with the youth program as well. And so when you talk about the time it takes as coaches, people don't understand that it's not just the season. It's in being involved with the youth program, getting those kids out, getting them used to competing and practicing and getting better and having fun and enjoying it. And that's all a part of it. And so our coaches do a good job with that. And then of course, the basketball season, we knew we had a shot at 2 state championships, and we were pretty excited about that. It takes a lot to win. You got a lot to win championships. You got to have a little bit of luck. You got to have people stay healthy. The ball has to bounce your way here and there. But all you can ask for is a chance. And we had a great chance on both the boys and girls side to win state championships and fell a little short. But I'm very excited for those programs in the future as well. And then our spring sports are off to a rough start with the weather, but they're doing a good job as far as we've had 1 track meet under our belt, and we had a lot of kids. Boys finished first, girls finished third in that track meet. Our girls soccer team, they dropped games to Central, who's, both boys and girls at Central are very, very good. The girls Central team's probably the team to beat again this year. We dropped games to them, but then our girls come back and beat Thunder Basin, who's another favorite in the state. And so, we just feel like we're always going to be there, and we expect from our expectations are for our coaches and our programs are to be involved, work hard, and make sure that you're always competing for those championships at the same time, developing your kids.
You mentioned with your kids, and obviously these are your kids too, at least for 4 years at Cheyenne East, and we've had that opportunity, especially with LCCC, men's and women's basketball. And, we'll throw out Mackenzie Fagabush having her first season with Cheyenne East. We saw Sam Merich's son, Nick, up at Eastern Wyoming College. Tavis Bartlett wrapping up his career with the University of Washington. It has to warm your heart, so to speak, to sit down with these youngsters when no matter what sport they're in, and they move on to that next level, whether it's on the JUCO side or the 4-year side.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm amazed. I'm truly amazed. We have college signings all the time. We try to make a big deal out of it because it is a huge deal. It's a small percentage of kids that get to play at the next level, and while that's not our ultimate goal by any means, we don't push kids and say, hey, you need to do this if you want to play at the next level. We're focused on, East High School and being involved. And for most kids, it's the last time you're going to be able to participate in sports. And so we want to make that a great experience for them and make sure they have a lot of fun and at the same time get better and enjoy their experience. But I'm amazed. We have we have 15 to 20 athletes per year that go and play somewhere in a lot of different things, and it's very exciting, and it does make you proud of those kids. And at East, of course, there's some big-time names out there that are playing professionally, and Tevis has a chance now. His pro day's coming up on April 1st, and he has a chance to possibly be drafted. And so it's fun to use those kids and their work ethic and their leadership and talk about them. And, their time at East doesn't end when they leave, because we continue to talk to them and use them as examples, and they have a big impact on the kids that we currently have at East High School.
And most notably, James Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson, play with Miami Heat. Again, you have a potential pro footballer. Again, you also, too, have a professional rodeo as well. Again, it just got a lot of big names from Cheyenne East, at least represented around the country.
All right. Well, Jerry, we want to thank you so much for dropping on by. Continued success at Cheyenne East, and again, kind of into that home stretch of the sports season. Then you get a chance to spend some time with your children, and again, then get back after it here coming up August. We're already looking at our August football schedule already. It's starting to heat up again for us as well too. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. Jerry Schlabs, East High Athletic Director, join us here in 1480 KRAE. Take a timeout. We'll come back. We got more after these words.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Black Velvet, 1.75-liter bottle, $12.99. Black Box Wine, all available flavors, 3-liter box, $16.99. And Bacardi Rum, light, dark, or limon, 1.75-liter bottle, $18.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480KRAE.com.
Wisdom, expertise, compassion, qualities that are the foundation of Cheyenne Urological, with Doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. You can trust Cheyenne Urological to give you the highest quality urinary care. Now offering the latest in robotic surgery. Call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131. That's 635-4131.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Menards with 2 convenient drive-thrus. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2. The east side location, corner of College and Pershing. And the original location on Vanda High Avenue. Medicap Pharmacy on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body, the main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue, and the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, directly across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D. In the Greenway Commons, enjoy Paisan cuisine 7 days a week at Mondello's Pizzeria. Mars Plumbing Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue, and we get things underway because we have a lengthy scoreboard, and it's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne with Nick.
NHL action for tonight. Detroit will be on the road. They will see the Buffalo Sabres at home. Carolina Hurricanes will take on the Washington Capitals. Montreal Canadiens will travel to Columbus to see the Blue Jackets. Ottawa Sens at home. They will host the Florida Panthers. New York Islanders will travel to Winnipeg to see the Jets. Edmonton Oilers at Rogers Center will host the Dallas Stars. LA Kings travel to Vancouver to see the Canucks. And last but not least at SAP Center, the Shark Tank, San Jose Sharks will play host to the Chicago Blackhawks. Playoffs clinching scenario for tonight. The Washington Capitals will clinch a playoff berth if they are able to defeat Carolina in any fashion, or if they get 1 point against Carolina and the Montreal and Columbus game is decided in regulation, regardless of who wins. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball opening day across the majors, and the Phils lead the Bravos 10-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Top of the 9th, no score between the Blue Jays and the Motor City Kitties of Detroit in the Rogers Center. Dodgers at Chavez Ravine 7-1 leaders over the Diamondbacks. Top of the 6th inning. Bottom of the 7th as the Astros taking care of business in the Trop against the Rays. Top of the 6th, Cubs lead the Rangers 8-2 at Globe Life Park. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Athletics tossing goose eggs at the Halos 4-0. Giants are trailing the Padres in the top of the 7th inning 2-0 at Petco. Top of the 8th with the Twins leading the Indians 2-0. Rockies 6-0 lead over the Marlins as they head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the 7th. Pirates 2, Reds 1 at Great American Ballpark into the first inning. They're finally getting underway after a lengthy delay at Kauffman Stadium. No score between the White Sox and the Royals. Yankees earlier have defeated the Orioles 7-2. Mets blanking the Nats 2-0. It was the Brewers 5, Cardinals 4 at Miller Park. Getting underway when we sign off, it will be the M's hosting the Red Sox. Over to the NBA scoreboard. Activity for this evening, including the Nuggets with a chance to tie the Warriors for that number 1 spot. In the Western Conference, it will be the Nuggets at the Toyota Center taking on the Rockets. Other contests, Magic at the Pistons, Nets and the 76ers in Philly, Mavericks and the Heat at American Airlines Arena, Raptors and the Knicks and the Mecca at Madison Square Garden, Clippers and the Bucks in the Fiserv Forum, Kings and the Pelicans at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, and the Spurs in San Antonio hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83. Come on, you're up.
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Don't know how long we will have Athletic Director Tom Burman on with us here from the University of Wyoming, but until that time, until we get that phone call, we will let you know that the Rockies have moved to the bottom of the 6th inning as they are leading the Marlins, the Miami Marlins, 6-1 as the Marlins have scored in the bottom 6. Kyle Freeland got the opening day call for Bud Black. So the Rockies right now, Story has gone yard in that contest. David Dahl's 3 for 3. Good start again. It's not saying much by playing the Marlins because the Marlins will
It's not a good test.
They will be a doormat team again this season like they were last year. I don't even want to use the word rebuild, but you look
They've been rebuilding. I mean, this is a team that is trying to claw their way out of the basement. They're still not doing it. Again, with what happened, basically unloading that new ownership of just saying, hey, take all of our good pieces. We're starting anew once again. Again, when you lost Giancarlo Stanton, it raised a lot of, at least, question marks again of Commissioner Manfred of what he was doing, or at least why he was allowing this to happen. Thank you for that. But again, of what's happening out there in Miami, again, just decimating that Marlins franchise. Again, the fans have shown how much they at least care, or at least again, they're kind of showing their respects back, at least back towards MLB by just not showing up. Granted, it seems like for Miami, though, for Miami, Tampa, both of those communities down there in southern Florida with baseball, and probably sports in general, they are the biggest fair weather fans of where if their teams are awful, they don't care.
And it's interesting, too, because, Derek Jeter, who has the non-controlling interest of the Miami Marlins.
He wants to win. He's come out and said,
he didn't buy in to lose, and that's what gets me. And, again, we're looking at the Miami Marlins where, as you say, they are fair weather fans. I mean, they got 2 World Series flags there. 1997 and 2003. The Rockies can't claim that. They both came into play at the same time. So basically what the Marlins did, they house cleaned. They kept on Mattingly. Again, Jeter and Mattingly have that relationship from the Yankee days. And Donnie Baseball is not that bad of a skipper. The thing is, the players that they have right now are young. They are developmental guys. But are they ready for prime time? No. Not even close. And if they're making big bucks or they're up for big bucks, the Marlins say, see ya.
Well, again, it is Miami just kind of being the East Coast version of the Oakland A's of just, hey, let's try and get a bargain.
Yeah, but they don't have Billy Beane, though, working for them.
I get that. And, again, clearly no one else because, again, Billy Beane is Billy Beane. But it seems like Miami is trying to be that Oakland A team of the East Coast of, hey, let's try and get for cheap. See if we can get wins out of those cheap pieces
and build from the farm.
And build up from there and just try to at least reinvent this team. Clearly, they are trying to reinvent the Miami Marlins franchise with at least unveiling new color schemes and the logo for this season. Again, as they've ditched away from the Florida Marlins, again, moving into the Miami Marlins of that old color scheme and logo to, again, where the at least bright neon colors of it is right now. And again, good on them to try and reinvent, but right now you're trying to reinvent in front of at least a fan base that it just doesn't care.
Yeah, nobody cares in Miami. And again, they built this brand new ballpark. It's got
that they thought everyone was going to come out.
All the bells and whistles, and it's like nobody still
cares.
Said,
It's a nice ballpark. I love like Tampa Bay with Miami. I'd love to go see that ballpark. It looks phenomenal. I love that kind of architectural style. It looks beautiful. I give them that credit. As a fan, though, is it something that do you
get excited to go watch a game there? Probably not.
Probably not.
Especially if you're sitting in the outfield.
Granted, they removed the center field kind of little theatrics when you hit a home run of the Marlin moving around. So they've kind of realized, hey, that wasn't doing a whole lot. Why are we wasting our money and time with that?
Yeah, I actually like the old ballpark where they played at before, where it was an outdoor facility. And, of course, like today, it's raining. That's why they have the roof on at the new ballpark right now.
Go figure.
So, yeah, I mean, Florida does get its share of rain. But, again, the Marlins, nobody cares. Anyway,
at least not until they're winning.
Yeah, Rockies are leading 6-1, and this, again, is a road test. So the Rockies, again,
it's not a road test, let's be honest. It's not a test at all.
They're on the road. That's all there is to it. And, again, you have to.
If they lose one game to Miami on the road, I would be shocked.
Well, they have to take care of business.
And not just the series, but, again, if they lose one game to Miami at all this season, I'd be shocked. Miami's a team that should get 100 losses this year. Should easily.
Very well could be. They weren't all that impressive in the spring as well. We need to take a timeout, and when we come back, we will be back with more of Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned, full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. They have a 16-month CD at an annual percentage yield of 2.33% and a 27-month CD at an APY of 2.74%. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Emergencies can happen anytime, and Mars Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, available 24/7, is here to take care of them in the quickest possible manner. Mars Plumbing and Heating provides the highest quality service for all your plumbing and heating needs. So if you need bathroom remodeling or a commercial heating contractor for your latest building project, Mars Plumbing and Heating will provide you with the most dependable service at a reasonable price. You can always count on Mars Plumbing and Heating. Give them a call at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
We're entering our 14th year and still going strong. I'm AJ Miller here at Kia of Cheyenne, and we always strive to make it easy for you to own a quality Kia vehicle for less. Right now, we can help get you into a new 2019 Kia Stinger and really make your day. Kia Stinger comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission, paddle shifters, push-button start, 18-inch wheels, leather seat trim, and heated seats, all standard. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Black Velvet, 1.75-liter bottle, $12.99. Black Box Wine, all available flavors, 3-liter box, $16.99. And Bacardi Rum, light, dark, or limon, 1.75-liter bottle, $18.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers with highs around 62. Then for tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 32. On Friday, it'll continue to be cloudy with snow likely with highs around 42. And on Friday night, it'll be more of the same with cloudy skies with snow likely with lows around 21.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Athletic Director Tom Burman from the University of Wyoming is now on the clock.
He's on a milk carton.
Now he needs to give us a call.
Yeah.
Or UW needs to give us a call. It is Sweet 16 night
I hope they
tonight.
didn't forget us.
I would hope not.
I would hope not either.
Sweet 16 night tonight.
I was going to say, it is a busy day for at least one athletic director, Tom Burman. Again, as he
How busy is it for him? He's got to grab a seat and watch the game tonight.
That's true, too.
Yeah, that's real busy. He's got to grab a couple of fistfuls of popcorn and
fistful of whatever else,
and a beverage and watch the ball game.
Shake hands, kiss babies, all that fun stuff.
So, and again, don't know what the crowd's going to be like. I understand sales of tickets are brisk. Means
I think lower bowl, it's very limited to at least get tickets, so that is a good sign. Would not, again, weather is looking like it's going to be clear.
It's going to hold off.
It's going to hold off until
Told you
tomorrow.
It would. Remember?
Well, guess what? I'm going off a forecast even this morning where it said, hey, it was still potential to rain and snow mix coming up tonight. So, again, blame the weather people, not me.
No, I'm not blaming.
Don't shoot the messenger.
I'm just saying, I had a feeling that, because this time of year.
At least Mother Nature giving the Wyoming Cowgirls a break, and, again, hopefully it does hold true here for next, 2 hours until tip-off there at 6:30 against Pepperdine. But for the Wyoming Cowgirls, I would anticipate, again, as that crowd grows and grows and grows in small chunks, I would assume, again, where it's no longer spring break for at least students over there at the University of Wyoming, or at least I don't believe so. I think it just ended, but at least hopefully students will come out as much as they got to pay that $5 entry fee to get in, or at least buy the ticket. But you would hope, though, that crowd is going to be loud and proud, and, again, a lot bigger, at least growing, maybe I don't expect it to be 6,000, 7,000 in attendance. That'd be nice and lovely. Yeah. But I anticipate probably 4,000.
It could go 4 to 4,500.
Yeah, I think that should be a fair crowd.
5 might be a topper.
Yeah, it looks like we finally got them.
All right, so we're going to you want to go ahead and take it live?
Yeah, we'll take it live.
All right, let's go ahead and take it live, and we'll go right to the phone line here and say good afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk today. Who do we have on the line?
This is Tom Burman. Is this Larry?
Yes, it is. AD, hey, Tom Burman, how you doing?
I apologize for being a few minutes late. I got sidetracked. I couldn't get done with what I was working on.
That's all right, Tom. We'll take you off the milk carton. We know that you're alive and well, and you can chat with us now.
Well, I don't know about well, but I'm alive.
All right, first off, I know we were over there as I made my first appearance a long time over in the AA to watch the opening round of the WNIT with the Cowgirls. Of course, tonight they're hosting a Sweet 16 contest against the Lady Waves of Pepperdine. You get a chance, hopefully, to catch that contest. But you were out with the wrestling team, so tell us a little bit about the wrestling experience this year for UW.
Well, we had a great regular season in wrestling, obviously, and then in the postseason, I would say we didn't compete to the level Coach Branch and the kids in the program wanted to, whether it be at the Big 12 championships or at the NCAA championships in Pittsburgh. But we did qualify 7 kids, and I think 4 of them were first-time qualifiers, so that's a good sign for the future, because oftentimes the stage is awfully. It's a bright light setting, and sometimes kids get a little bit uptight and don't wrestle to their best when it's their first experience. So obviously we would have liked to have done better. We had set higher expectations, but it didn't work out. So we just go back to work and figure out how to get better.
Well, but that's certainly got to be a feather in the cap, though, for the University of Wyoming, where, again, we talk with Coach Branch and, again, seeing what that program has done in recent years of just being a nationally ranked program, just being completely dominant. I mean, that has got to be a nice little, at least, piece to showcase off to at least recruits and, again, incoming students to the University of Wyoming of saying, take a look at what we're doing right now across the nation with, at least with Cowboy wrestling right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the fact that we're disappointed and we qualified the most kids ever to the NCAA Wrestling Championships for Wyoming is a great sign. And we just got to, Coach Branch and his group, they won't rest. They're going to try to figure out how to compete better in the Big 12 Championships and compete better in the NCAA Championships.
Tom, let's talk again. We're talking with Athletic Director Tom Burman at the University of Wyoming. Tonight, Sweet 16, Cowgirls get a chance to host in the AA, and we were just talking prior to your phone call that we anticipate that the crowd to be maybe 4,500. Weather, at least over here in this part of the world, is holding off. So again, that makes for transportation problems to be extremely less. So I would venture to say that a good contingent again from the Cap City heads over. Tell us a little bit what you know about ticket sales for this evening's game.
Going really well. We're actually over 4,000 tickets sold as of this afternoon, so we're gonna have a good turnout. I would expect us to be somewhere north of 4,500, close to 5,000 attendance for the game, which would be unbelievable. And if we can get there, and if we can get to that number, and we can win, I think that'll give us enough revenue to entice the WNIT people to bring Arizona to Laramie. If Arizona draws anywhere close to that, they're going to probably send us on the road.
You know, looking at the AA, and again, my first venture back into the actual arena in a long time, and I had a couple of discussions with folks, and my first thought were, Tom, and again, you can lay the hammer on me if you want, but I remember sitting down on the floor looking across the way and seeing that sea of brown and gold of students that were very significant to Cowboy basketball. But I feel now that with the new setup in the arena, you kind of got them tucked away. What's the reasoning for that?
Well, I don't think we got them tucked away. They have the end zone, right down on the floor, those 250 seats floor level, and then they go above that. And no real reasoning other than, at the end of the day, we're in the business of generating dollars to cover expenses, and the more tickets we can sell on the other sides, mid-court area, the better off we are financially. So when we renovated the arena a few years ago, we sat down with the students and talked about it, and I guess we're looking at 4 or 5 years ago now, and there was just no real major heartburn. They wanted to be down on the floor, and they wanted a couple hundred seats down on the floor, and we were able to provide that to them, and so it seemed to work out well for others. Now, Larry, you mentioned I was a little thrown off a little bit. So when you came to the women's game the other night, that was your first time since they're back in the arena?
Yeah.
Where the hell have you been?
There's been differences why I didn't show up. It goes back to an athletic director prior to you. That's why I haven't been back in there.
So it's nothing against you, Tom.
We need you back. But, the one thing is the students don't come to women's basketball, which is frustrating to me, but they never have. And even tonight, we've got free tickets for them. We've got a great promotion, and it will have a very small student contingent tonight at the women's game, which is frustrating. But that's the nature of our student body, and we can't. We'll keep trying, but I wouldn't tell you that the seats are not really the issue for women's basketball. The seats may be the issue for men's basketball, but they're not the issue for women's basketball.
Interesting subject there.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least continuing that theme with men's basketball, obviously a very rough season. What happened with Coach Allen Edwards, again, an anomaly year for Wyoming Cowboy basketball, what happened with Coach Edwards. But again, you talk about attendance, and we talked with you last year about attendance of trying to grow that with both the men and women. With, again, this rough season that Coach Edwards had to deal with, it seemed like fans were definitely turning their backs, turning away from at least from the Wyoming Cowboys, not attending the AA. But how big or how significant was it of, at least, again, lack of bodies there in the AA for men's basketball this season?
Yeah, well, it was significant. I mean, it was a disappointing situation for the Cowboys to be in, and some of it was, as I've said, some of it was self-induced, some of it was bad luck. But nonetheless, the fan base is not going to come to games when they don't think their team has a chance. And unfortunately, when you're in the situation we were with men's basketball, our fan base didn't think we had a chance and just kind of turned away from it. And so it's a important part of how we analyze our program and make decisions going forward. But we're not a place that's going to make decisions solely based on wins and losses and solely based on money. We're going to look at the bigger picture and all the things we're doing. But at the end of the day, whether it's year 3 or year 4, there comes a point where you have to win games, and that's where we are now. We got to figure out a way to turn the corner.
Tom, and I'm glad you brought that up. And again, I don't envy the position you're in, because I'm sure, what happened with Coach Edwards, coming off 2 20-win seasons and then having the season that was marred by a pile of injuries. Again, a lot of new kids to the program who were prep stars, and, they needed to play both, ends of the court, and, it was a learning experience for them. But you, being the athletic director, you're hearing it from all sides, whether it's a fan, whether it's somebody that's involved with the program or outside of the program. I mean, I'm sure it got to a point where it just kind of drives you nuts as well, and everybody wants you to make an answer or give an answer or make a decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's part of the job, and you get frustrated with it. But you also, I would say, in spite of what the public may think, most of our very engaged fans, and I mean our donors that are really engaged in our program, were pretty sympathetic this year. I mean, at a high percentage, they were like, hey, this is a bad deal, and we need to give Coach Edwards more time to figure this out. And if he can't, then the decision will fall on you, Tom. But until then, you got to support him and figure out some way to help him get this thing turned around as soon as possible.
Even though the Coach Edwards has a couple of years left in his contract, does Allen have to feel like he's got to look over his shoulder? I mean, not that you gave him the dreaded vote of confidence. I mean, you made your comments about the season and with Coach, but I mean he has 2 years left on his deal. Does Coach Edwards have that free reign again up and down the sideline?
Yeah, I'm not going to micromanage him in any regard. Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about things I believe that he's going to need to take a strong look at to change, but and many of those things he agreed with. But the reality of the situation, he's a big guy, and he understands the business he chose to be in. And when you decide you want to be a Division I basketball coach, you can't just have multiple bad years in a row. That's not going to work, whether it's at Wyoming or anywhere. So he knows that there's pressure, and he's fine with it, and he's making decisions that are in the best interest of Wyoming basketball next year and going forward.
At least looking to turn the page away from the men's basketball program. And again, we'll focus on at least another major program. We haven't talked at least with you about it, Tom, since at least last season. But Cowboy football, at least under Coach Craig Bull, we're finishing the season at 500-6-6. Obviously, again, without the likes of Josh Allen, saw what happened with that program. And again, having to deal with kind of building up the younger classmen of part of the Cowboy football program. But just give us your thoughts on the kind of downturn. Obviously, you were probably out there, heard the boo birds as well, too, throughout that season, where fans were not happy with what they saw on the field. And, again, they kind of showed with their dollars as well, too, of not showing up at War Memorial Stadium throughout that season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, our fans had high expectations this year for football. So when you start off 2-6, there's frustration. But it was I wouldn't say it was really very negative, at least from my perspective. I mean, we had some booing, but that booing, to me, was more a frustration of, hey, we got to figure out how to solve this riddle and move the football. And by the end of the year, they figured it out. They won 4 games in a row. They played much better, and I think there's a genuine enthusiasm for this year from our fan base, and based upon our ticket renewals at the rate they're going, they're ahead of last year. So I think we're in a pretty good spot.
All righty, Tom. Hey, we want to thank you for joining us today on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Again, 6:30 tap time tonight for Coach Legursky's Cowgirls, again, moving into the Sweet 16 round. And again, sometimes, Tom, and I know I want to go ahead and let you go, but if the Cowgirls end up winning this thing, they become, quote, the 65th best team in the nation. But it's amazing. The WNIT still has that muscle like the old NIT did a few years back.
Yep. And what's interesting about the WNIT for Wyoming fans, and this is not how I feel or how Coach Legursky feels, but I heard from many fans who were pleased we lost in the championship game because they wanted to watch their Cowgirls in Laramie, and they didn't want to see us go to Hartford, Connecticut, and play UConn in a first-round match. So everybody's got a different agenda, but we're thrilled that our fans are showing up, and they're excited to watch the Cowgirls. And you're right, the WNIT, at least in Laramie, still has a lot of luster, and I think it will as long as the Cowgirls continue to provide a good show.
Tom, thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch up with you down the road again, okay?
All right, take care, guys.
University of Wyoming Athletic Director Tom Burman joining us live from Laramie again. Cowgirls tapping at 6:30 against the Pepperdine Lady Waves. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. Nick and myself will have a chance to have a little discussion after these words.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Is the touchscreen on your phone or tablet cracked or broken? Buying a new device could cost up to $1,000. Or you could let the local experts at High West Digital Solutions save you hundreds of dollars. We can replace your touchscreen in as little as a day, and your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit our website at hwds.com or call 307-245-4333 and speak to a real live human being. High West Digital Solutions, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you. In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC. Check out this simple math equation. Add new games with new fun, and it equals new ways of winning at Wyoming Downs. Check out the newest simulcasting games on display today featuring Great American Buffalo, Midnight Wolf, and Kiss Me, I'm Irish to go along with more exciting simulcasting games in play. Remember to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays and double points on Mondays. Also Fridays and Saturdays, play Mystery Moolah. Plus check out all of the other promotions going on every week at Wyoming Downs with 2 locations to have fun in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Linkaway and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. For more information, go to wydowns.com.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, looking at a final, our Giants lose to the Padres 2-0, but we had neither one of those in our final picks for the NL West. Rockies have moved to the top of the 8th inning. They continue to lead the Marlins 6-1. So for the Rockheads, they're looking pretty good. The Athletics have blanked the Angels 4-0 this afternoon in the Oko.
Yeah. Anyways, as we're going through, again, opening day, again, exciting times right now, unfortunately, with the Giants losing. But, again, there's 161 more
but
games
Mad
left.
Got beat again. I mean, he gets
bad.
He gets beat 2-0. That's what I'm saying. 2-0. Most pitchers win when you only give up a couple of runs.
I remember years where, you look at a Matt Cain had similar numbers.
I
like
remember those games.
Could get any run support. So it's kind of the Giants of old are back once again here in 2019 for
this
the final season.
This is going to be probably one of the poorest hitting teams around.
This is going to be a rough kind of season to send Bruce Bochy on out, at least into the sunset. But, either way. Going back.
Mad Bum, by the way, went 7 innings for the
Do
Giants.
I expect anything less? No. Again, he's an ace pitcher. Go figure. Again, going back to thank you to Tom Burman joining us at least for today on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Again, 80 there at the University of Wyoming. We've been working to at least get him on the show. Again, finally took some time. At least gave us the opportunity to speak. And again, there was a lot to divulge. Again, not enough time to speak with him on things, but going back at least kind of nitpicking, or at least again just kind of piecing out of at least his statements at least that he made to us, first with men's basketball, again with Coach Alan Edwards, talking about of things, again, wins and losses, those numbers do matter, but also to looking at improvements in other aspects. Didn't really specify on that, but you wonder if attendance, again, were, may point to ask that a question, or at least kind of point out at least somewhat of the obvious of, hey, right, fans did not show up to the AA. Is that something that where Tom Burman, we talked last year, wanted to improve that? Well, guess what? It went very far south this season with, again, with what the team was showcasing out on the court. But you wonder, what does Coach Alan Edwards, and hopefully we'll be able, at least I put out the signal to Coach Alan Edwards, hopefully we'll get him on the show at least next week. what else does Coach Edwards need to do to at least kind of solidify his job? Again, obviously he's a head coach. It's like any other head coach in collegiate, Division I, Division II, or JUCO. Hey, you're judged on wins and losses,
and he understands that. And again, I think both he and Tom Burman had that discussion.
I'm just saying, what else does he need to improve on?
Well, I think what he needs to improve on, is that he needs to get kids in there that are immediate help.
Yeah, he needs that this year, and I think
he needs immediate help because you're losing Justin James,
and that gives me confidence. Where again, at least in discussions of trying to book Alan Edwards here on the show, he was down in Hutchinson, Kansas, looking at the D1 or at least JUCO, the NJCAA national tournament that just wrapped up about a couple days ago. Right. At least he was down there in Hutchinson looking at those JUCO products. So that is good to at least hear. Now, will he sign any of them, or at least is it just kind of the put his face out there? Who knows? Again, hopefully he will take a look at some of those at least D1 ready prospects. And again, we've saw a lot of them here in Region 9. A lot of them have already signed on to other D1 programs around the country, whether it's from Casper College, from Sheridan, from also to Western Nebraska. There's a lot of talent here in this region, though. Right here in this, again, Nebraska, Wyoming, and moving down to Colorado.
And you know what? And you throw the gauntlet down on Coach Edwards for going after all prep people last year. I think he got one JUCO player. I think that JUCO player's left. But the point is,
well, he had one JUCO or at least a walk-on from Western Nebraska who was their equipment manager who got playing time this year because, again, it was that bad.
I know, but what I'm saying, though,
again, injuries.
He even told us last year, we talked to him, he said, the problem with the prep players are they know how to score, they don't know how to play defense.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with the prep players this year, they got the baptism into D1 basketball.
They had trouble scoring as well.
They had problems putting the biscuit in the basket. Yeah. And, you can have one good game, but you can't have 9 bad games. It doesn't work that way.
I think that's what Coach Alan Edwards, hopefully, again, with his move going down to Hutchinson, Kansas, he does realize, hey, I need some of those established players who have gotten collegiate experience on the JUCO side, again, who are – they're not fresh from high school. They have, again, they've worn out their legs, so to speak. They've gotten that full collegiate schedule. Again, what we saw with like LCCC, hey, they got that under their belt. Hopefully it would ready them to move on up to the D1 level as well. So we'll see what happens there. But
I think Coach Edwards is going to have to take a page out of what Jason Ficka said to us. I need bigger, stronger, faster kids.
Oh, yeah. But again, that is also tough where, for Jason Ficka here in LCCC, but for Coach Alan Edwards in the state of Wyoming, or at least with the University of Wyoming, it's a tough situation where, you are trying to find those bigger, stronger kids. You got to find those diamonds in the rough where other schools are trying to sift through that pile. For the University of Wyoming, especially where it is right now after the season it just had, you're pretty much you're looking at the bare nubbins right now of who is going to commit to the University of Wyoming to play men's basketball for the Cowboys right now. It's good. It's good said. It's good looking on paper, but when it comes to action, is it something where is Coach Alan Edwards well behind the 8 ball to compete with other D1 schools to at least court those players on out to the University?
Not really. You just have to be. You have to be a better recruiter.
And even look in the Mountain West, where you look at Nevada to compete with Utah State to compete with, maybe even CSU with Nico Medved down there, what he's trying to build up with the Rams. Boise State, at least. Again, you look.
They just reload.
UNLV is on the upward swing. Air Force looks like it's going to be competitive. Again, a lot of teams right now in your own conference are also, too, trying to look at those summer-style players and trying to steal them away from the university.
You have a couple of kids that you can build the program around. Again, Justin James,
he's gone.
And he put the world on his shoulders. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it all.
That weight was too much for him.
That's right.
And I don't blame him.
And there was very little support.
Oh, yeah. It was just him.
And some of the young guys this year were complete busts.
Yeah.
Let's be real honest. So and Coach Edwards is going to come back and say, well, these guys, this was a good class I drafted, or I brought in. I'm sorry, didn't mean to.
Or either brought in, but time was not ready.
To you
for
and me and the fan, they were busts. They were not good.
Yeah.
So
when you're flirting with, again, how bad you are with San Jose State, that's not good.
You have to get out there and you have to be a better recruiter. Now, again, the 5-star athletes are going to the Dukes and they're going to North Carolina and Kansas.
I think for Coach Allen Edwards, of where you're talking about these 5-star, 4-star, these McDonald's All-Americans, I think again, it goes back to these universities' motto right now of One Wyoming. Well, guess what? You have quality JUCO players. You have quality talent here in the state of Wyoming. I think where other entities around the nation are going to disrespect the state of Wyoming, not care about the athletes that are playing in this state's borders. Here you are, the lone university here, no one else to compete with other than maybe the JUCOs that can kind of court over those players. But it's a situation of, why not look at a Casper? Why not look at an LCCC, Western Wyoming, Northwest, Eastern Wyoming, Sheridan, Gillette? Yeah, again, Northeastern down there, Western Nebraska. You have all of this. And also, too, we have talented, maybe again, looking on the JUCO, but again, we also, too, what we saw through state tournament, regionals as well. Got some quality high schoolers that could probably.
Not
I think there's
D1.
Maybe one or two.
There's probably one or two D1s, yes, but not. I wouldn't even go the high school.
I'm just saying more so on the JUCO again here in the state of Wyoming. What we
I
saw.
would agree with you on the JUCO side. There's probably one or two, or three good quality candidates that you could probably pick up as a freshman and get 4 for 3.
Yeah.
And again, when I say 4 for 3, 4 years to play 3. And I'll use Applegren for LCCC. Me personally, I hope he stays at LCCC.
I hope so.
But he is one of those guys that's being courted.
Oh yeah.
And
we've heard those
and I don't know if he would be, whatever university he goes to, are they going to sit him down for a year, build him up, because he needs to build up?
Absolutely, probably. But is that a player that Coach Allen Edwards necessarily needs or wants on the Cowboys? I think right now of where Tom Burman kind of, at least in his talks with Coach Allen Edwards, it makes it feel like he's got to win now, or at least again, it needs to improve now.
Yeah, but you know what? They could win 20 games next year, Nick. And I don't know how many more people are going to show up.
What is the expectations for Allen Edwards next season? Is
I
it
would
something
think
where they need to make it
500.
Well, I absolutely, but is it something that it's so drastic that we need to get back into the NIT? We need to get this team.
The only bar they should set next year is to win the conference. That's the only bar that they should set.
And that's a very high bar too.
Yeah, but that's what you.
No, yeah, absolutely. I get that. But again, right now it seems like it needs to be small stepping stones.
Exactly.
Get above 500, have a positive home record, have a positive conference record.
Hey, but Coach Edwards is paid to win Mountain West Conference championships.
Oh yeah.
As is Coach Bowl for football.
Yeah.
They're paid to win championships.
And we could talk about that after our final break.
So anyway, but going forward for next season, the goal for Coach Edwards definitely is going to be on his chalkboard. We got to win the Mountain West. I've got to build it so they will come.
Yeah, but again, you got to figure out what are expectations, what are fans' expectations for next season, and obviously
fans' expectations to go to the NCAA tournament. That's
again, of what you just saw this season. Again, as a fan watching this team, the bar set very low.
Well, they're going to expect miracles because, again, we came off of
this is a team that was expected to finish 7th in the Mountain West, and they finished near dead last.
We came off a 2-10 football season one year and came back 8-6. The next season, we're vying for a Mountain West Conference.
Does the Cowboys have that talent on the men's basketball side?
That's up to Coach Bowl and his staff when they go out on the recruiting trail.
I was talking about basketball, so that's Coach Allen Edwards.
Coach Edwards and his staff, when they're out there in the recruiting trail, they're going to have to get that quality player who can come in and make an immediate impact. They can't have any more guys sitting on the bench to develop.
No, yeah.
Because the guys on the bench that they developed this year were not good.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And again, there's a couple, glimpses of what could have been, but the bottom line was for every game they played, they were not that good.
Yeah.
And the bar was really low this year, except for one Justin James. We are going to take a timeout. We'll come back with more after these words right here in 1480 KRAE.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Why do we work all hours of the night? Head towards challenges instead of turning away. And work together to solve the toughest problems so you can enjoy the little things and all the big moments life has to offer. Tri-State and High West Energy. Brighter, stronger, better together.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today only on 1480 KRAE, and you can stream live with us at 1480krae.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers with highs around 62. Then for tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 32. On Friday, it'll continue to be cloudy with snow likely with highs around 42. And on Friday night, it'll be more of the same with cloudy skies with snow likely with lows around 21.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Larry Peretti along with Nick Peretti. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday again, 6:30 tap time, AA with the Cowgirls as they will play host to the Lady Waves of Pepperdine.
Unfortunately, we won't be there for the game. Instead, I got obligations to at least show some support to the Cheyenne Stampede as they have a little fundraiser going on tonight. Fortunately, it's not available to the public, but to at least invite only. But again, we'll show a little more support to our Cheyenne Stampede as, again, their fight to at least get out of dormancy. Again, hopefully to continue the hockey playing for next season here in the city of Cheyenne. Again, I don't know what you're doing, so but it doesn't matter.
I'm getting ready. I have an event coming up tomorrow, so I have to be ready for that.
Good for you. Either way, though, again, as we're dissecting, again, our earlier conversation with AD Tom Burman, again, we discussed a few things regarding Alan Edwards, and we'll kind of shift focus back to at least fall with Wyoming Cowboy football and Coach Craig Bowl of what the season was, again, finishing 500. Again, Boo Birds were out there. We heard them at the War Memorial, at least Tom Burman kind of at least referring to that, saying, hey, it was more so the quality, at least, not so much against the coaching staff or anything like that. It was just more so of, hey, they just didn't like the plays, or so to speak. There,
I think they were kind of PO'd at the offensive coordinator because at the time last year the offense was not good.
No, and it has no promise this year. And again, the question mark is still who. Obviously, again, there is no favorite of quarterback. Again, will it be Sean Chambers? I would think probably more so.
But Tom also said this to us too. That, they won their last 4 games, 3 against very weak opponents.
They were
they damn near lost to Air Force. If it wasn't for Sean Chambers, they damn near and again too. The other quarterback that was the starter last year.
How about Vanderwall?
I mean, if it wasn't for those 2 guys. We'd have lost to Air Force, and we wouldn't even been talking about a Mendoza line season. But the thing is, where Alan Edwards is catching heat after coming off 2 20-win seasons, whether they're good, bad, and different, and having a fall-off year, and everybody's on his case now, let's look at the Craig Bull record.
Yeah, well, I've already discussed it. I've already put that out there. And again, I wasn't going to beat up Tom with that, or at least
no. And I think that's something we discussed with Coach Bull.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is something where you look at previous head coaches of recent years, whether it is Dave Christensen, you go to Joe Glenn, two who spent 5 or 6 years with the Wyoming Cowboys, who were eventually fired, removed from the head coaching position there with the Wyoming Cowboys. They had better overall records, again, at least percentage-wise. And again, I calculated the number of games where it was all equal. Craig Bull, out of those 3 head coaches at this point in time, had the worst overall record. He's lost more regular season games than he's won compared to Dave Christensen, to Joe Glenn at this point in time. And again, it is numbers like that where, hey, we do base things off of wins and losses. Well, there it is. The guy who we brought in, again, who's had national championships with North Dakota, did all that fun stuff up there. Again, obviously, in the FCS level, coming up to the FBS, hey, it's a whole different animal, especially here in the Mountain West, where you do have to look at the ranks of Utah State now, Boise State, a few other, at least, good programs, whether it is Fresno State as well, too, on the west side. Right now, again, Cowboys did make it to a Mountain West championship game. Did fall short, though, to San Diego State. They've been to bowl games, nothing too spectacular. They've lost to BYU in the Poinsettia Bowl, and then won against Central Michigan, which is kind of rah-rah. But again, for the Cowboys, it was showing, especially what we're seeing recently under at least Craig Bull, is those teams that were successful showed that it was due to one Josh Allen. Give him the world of credit. Josh Allen was a superhuman athlete. He was a phenomenal product, and again, did wonders for the University of Wyoming. Again, obviously, he is now making dividends for the Buffalo Bills in the NFL. He proved at least that marked difference for the Cowboys. Now, minus Josh Allen, again, 1 year removed from him, it proved to be a 500 season, no bowl. And again, it was those 4 wins in a row were against subpar teams of a New Mexico, a San Jose State. You barely got past Air Force. You beat teams that you were supposed to beat, but you couldn't beat your Washington States. You struggled. You got your win against Wofford, but barely. You barely beat an FCS team. It took a lot, though, to at least up in Wofford, but there is that. So
the question is, though, as you look ahead towards the 2019 season, quarterbacks. Are we going to be a throwing team?
Are we going to be running?
Are we going to be,
well, that depends. Who will be that starter? Again, Sean Chambers.
It's going to be pass option.
Well, I'm just saying, if it's Sean Chambers being your starter, then guess what? You're a run team. You're that kind of wildcat offense, and that's how it's going to be. Similar to what we saw when Sean Chambers was trotted out against Utah State, where it was just kind of run. If it is Tyler Vanderwall who they decide to go with here in spring camp, then I would say, all right, it's going to be a passing team where maybe, at least with Tyler Vanderwall, if he's running, it's more so he's running for his life due to that offensive line. So,
absolutely.
Right now, again, the question is, what is this team going to look like? You lost a lot of pieces, again, on that defense where you thought was going to carry this team, and it did.
It did until it ran out of gas.
Yeah, until it basically burned itself out throughout that season. You lost a lot of those talent. You lost a lot of talent, a lot of veteran leadership on that defense. That's scary. That is a scary thing to think about, where that was why this Cowboys team was 6-6 last year. You lost that. What is this team going to be like this season? And it doesn't seem like it's going to be all that pretty. And now you might get the win where, again, at home, without having the schedule here in front of me, I do know the Idaho Vandals are coming in. Vandals are awful in the Big Sky. You should get that one win there. Hopefully, again, another FCS level team coming out to Laramie, Wyoming. Granted, Idaho has been out here. They know how things operate, but you should get the win there. Conference-wise, again, without having that schedule here in front of me, you might get a few against those lower echelon teams. I don't think we see San Jose State once again, but you wonder of just what this season's going to be like, and does Coach Craig Bull deserve a little magnifying glass on him of what is the season going to turn out?
Don't you think that, and again,
I have those numbers.
I think the heat's going to be turned up more with the media, but the fans are starting to lip off as well. The fans were not happy last year.
Well,
And again,
and the fans.
But here's what's going to happen this season, though.
That heat was felt both by Craig Bowl and again, it's felt by Tom Burman.
But here's what's going to happen this year: the offense, in my opinion, and they got some holes to plug.
The offense needs to change.
I know, but the offense is going to be further ahead than the defense to start things off. I mean, let's be real. You got more veterans coming back to the offense than you do the defense.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird mishmash every season.
It's for me, in my opinion. Again, Tom Burman did not at least refer to it. And again, we can get his thoughts. We're closer to football, or at least throughout that season. But right now for the Wyoming Cowboys, it's a team that needs, especially on that coaching staff, definitely a magnifying glass on it. Kept a close eye on what's happening over there at War Memorial Stadium. And maybe it's time to reevaluate some staff as well, too, of if it ends up being worse than what it was last year, I think it's time to go, all right, let's try a new experiment here. Because this one is not working.
I'm going to be real honest with you. The guy says he's there to win championships. Let's count, how many championships does he want?
0.
And if he doesn't win one this year, that's 6 years on the job.
Yeah.
You've
had 2 bowls where, again, your predecessor with Dave Christensen did the same thing.
How long do we have to wait?
I hope not much longer, I would think. Because then you're just wasting time. You're wasting time in front of, again, of a fan.
You're wasting my time with the cavalry coming.
Yeah, again, you're wasting the time of the fans where, again, a fan base that Tom even addressed it, again, something we pointed out. And, again, nothing against, hey, you want your teams to win, and when they're not, you're not willing to spend those $60, $80, $100 per ticket, prices to go over to Laramie to see a terrible product. It's something where for University of Wyoming, they can't afford it for much longer because if it gets even worse, that stadium is going to be empty. No one is going to be supporting Wyoming Cowboy football. You're not going to have those season ticket renewals. No one's going to care about this product. So it's something where I don't think the university can afford to go, all right, we can put an extended time frame and let it kind of play out. No, you need results pretty quickly.
You need the warm weather fans to be showing up during the colder months as well. And that means you're winning. If you're not winning,
when they're not attending to see a Washington State, when they're not attending to see a Mizzou,
winning, they're not going to show up. That's the bottom line. Hey, coming up 8 o'clock, we will have Sherlock Holmes ×2, Golden Age of Radio Theater. We follow that up from 9 until 10 with Suspense Theater. Again, 2 hours of the Golden Age of Radio Theater heard right here exclusively on 1480 KRAE. With that being said, the best of the 50s and 60s musically happening after we sign off.